Have you ever listened to a person talk for less than a minute and known you weren't going to get along with that person? What did they say?
Story 1.
New guys at work. First coffee break, he started complaining about his ex who had full custody of the kids for some unknowable reason, and also how he'd like to slash her throat with a rusty knife. Nice to meet you too. Don't think I'll be taking breaks with you. It was nice of him to clear up why his wife divorced him and why he couldn't be with his kids.
Story 2.
Years ago, me and my ex-husband went to see a movie with an older colleague of his. Before the movie, we had dinner at like a chain restaurant / steakhouse type place. Staff on the floor was all 20-ish. I never met this man before, but in the first few minutes of sitting down and looking at the menu, he very confidently told us how he came there a lot and flirted with the female staff because they loved the attention. The best part? His daughter worked there. All I could think was how I would literally cringe myself through the floor if I was 20 and my 50-year-old dad came into my place of work and perved on my coworkers because he didn't understand that they only put up with him because they are paid to do so. My papa would come to the restaurant that I worked in. I usually was the server, but once someone else got his table, my coworkers would fight to take him. My papa was a funny dude that left enormous tips and joked with everyone around him that was cool with it. He was one of those tall, skinny guys that just looks like a guy you could talk to. I remember I had told him about one of my coworkers having a rough time of it. He came in, specifically requested her, and then left her a $100 bill as a tip. When I got home, he asked if she had gotten the tip. Of course she had, and then broke down hugging me, telling me that my grandfather was the best person she had ever met. She wasn't wrong.
Story 3.
Asked me, do you mind if I smoke? Then proceeded to take out a meth pipe. This is hilarious, but yeah, not pal material.
Story 4.
New guy started at my job. We were outside smoking on first break. Keep in mind, I have never met nor spoken to this dude in my life. He walks up, lights up his cigarette, and says, you know, I think my severe arachnophobia has transformed into arachnophilia. I've been watching a lot of spider hentai while masturbating. Then he began to describe his new waifu pillow he bought, her name, and his plans to marry her. I was speechless. Edit. I work in a distribution warehouse for a clothing company. We were forklift drivers. He didn't last very long, but not because of the things he said. He was constantly late for work, and twice a week he'd shown up in Crocs, knowing damn well I've told him 100 times he needs closed-toe shoes. I've had to send him home to change shoes. I told him to keep a pair of shoes in his car so he had something to wear at work. Didn't work. And eventually, I had to let him go for excessive tardiness and absenteeism. Listen, man. Yeah, you can't just come into a thread and start up like this. Give other people a chance to participate before you burn the whole thing down like this. Reddit is a communal experience, goddammit.
Story 5.
I was listening to the Nexium podcast, and the clip of the founder saying he has 225 IQ. If I walked into a room and heard someone say that, I'd walk right back out. I used to brag about my IQ score. It was off a free internet test. I was 14. I learned better.
Story 6.
New guy at work. Super fake at being overly excited and overly comfortable with everyone in the first minute. He's all mommy this and poppy that to everyone and overly touchy. We were almost all Hispanics there and everyone was uncomfortable. First phone call of the day, he hangs up cursing and taking it super personally that someone hung up on him. Daily occurrence in customer service. After about 6 months, I put in my 2 weeks notice solely because I couldn't work next to him or with him anymore. He would also get overly gossipy and personal. My boss rejected my notice and transferred him. He couldn't stand the guy either. No one could. Fuck, I had to scroll too far to see this. People who try to force best friend vibes with everyone have 100% turned out to be creeps or psychos in my life. Like, fucking chill. We don't know each other and that's fine. We don't need inside jokes on the first day. I'm not literally your spirit animal. Always comes off so transactional. Like, if I say the friendship things, I can get what I want from anyone. No. Let it happen naturally. If we vibe, we vibe. If we don't, cool.
Story 7.
There are different levels to being a psychic. I'm on the purple level, so I can talk to the dead, said a new employee at my previous job. Nope.
Story 8.
The quiet boy at school sat next to me and told me how hard he felt when he took a shit and how many times he ejaculated that way. I never sat next to him again. Are you from the UK? And is the kid's name Chris?
Story 9.
I was in a job interview once, and the manager cut me off mid-sentence to jump to a weird conclusion. What do you think the performance of this algorithm would be? Me. Oh, it'll be n times. Oh, you think it's going to be n? You think it'll be n? That's ridiculous. There's no way it would just be n. Me. You gotta let me finish speaking. He then cut me off mid-sentence twice more during our conversation. We didn't get along. Dude was a total tool.
Story 10.
They talked negatively about someone in a very judgy way. There was this mom in my daughter's school who seemed to know everyone. She talked to me and spoke so bad about these people. Then months later, I saw her interacting in a friendly way with those she was judging. My eyes rolled so much that I could see my brain telling me not to get involved with her. And I was right, because by the time the school year ends, her friends hated her and they were talking behind her back too.
Story 11.
I met one of my new colleagues at a barbecue that was being hosted by our work. I, a man, drove with another coworker, a woman, and a friend of mine, so we arrived together. When I was alone for a moment, this guy, whom I've never spoken to before, comes up next to me and says, "Yo, dude, you hitting that?" Gestures to my friend, and I said, "No, and she also has a boyfriend." He very exaggeratedly says, "Damn." Yada yada yada, he got fired 2 years later for sexually harassing an intern.
Story 12.
Literally last night, was at a local pool comp and went to introduce myself to my second round opponent. We shake hands and his first words to me are, "Weak fucking handshake, bro," followed by, "I hope you like banter, mate," then proceeded to talk shit about every aspect of my game. The worst part was he was actually good at pool, so it just seems like he was generally a cunt. Some of his other opponents got it a lot worse than I did as well. Highlight of the night was when the comp host basically yelled in his face, "Everyone in this room fucking hates you," which received a round of applause. He didn't seem to understand why that was. "Just banter, bro." Edit. The comp is 90% regulars that are there every week. This was the guy's first time playing there. He knew no one except the couple of mates he brought. I can assure people calling me a liar that he was universally hated. He ended up losing the final, which received more of a response than the host yelling at him, but yeah, lol. I don't even know why I'm responding to this. I guess I have never had this much attention on anything I have ever shared on the internet.
Story 13.
The new neighbor who, after introducing himself, pointed to his chest and says, "Instant asshole, just add beer." That's what the family says. Nah, we're not gonna be neighbors, pal. Fuck you, Irv. You were an asshole even without beer.
Story 14.
Asked a guy what he does at a business networking event. "Well, I'm a chiropractor, but looking to get out." "How come?" "All these Me Too accusations. In another state, I have 3 of them. Good thing none of them went to the bar." Edit. He probably said board instead of bar. As soon as he started complaining about Me Too accusations, I pretty much tuned him out.
We sincerely appreciate you taking the time to watch our YouTube video. If you find our content helpful and enjoyable, please click the subscribe button to stay updated on any new videos we share in the future. Thank you once again, and we hope to see you in our next upcoming videos.